All right, y'all, here we go. Start with what we're looking at today is solving system equations using the elimination method. I'm gonna put a couple notes up here real quick. They will be on your. Today is the 18th. Hope I hadn't changed it up there. Yeah. All right. All right. So steps. You must get. Hey y'all, listen up. You must get one of the variables to have opposite co e. Well, let's see if I can get this done right. Coefficients in the two equations. Yes. Yeah, I always write them up here, but then I'll show you kind of what that means as I'm doing it. So very quickly, hey y'all, listen up. What's the word opposite mean within a math? One is positive and the other one is negative, but it's the same number. Okay? You can't see now? Okay. So these. And as we do the first example, we'll make sure that you see what we're doing with each step as we go. Make sure if you keep your phone put away, you take pictures. Okay. Well, until I started to say it, you were just kind of looked like you were just texting on something. You gotta unlock your phone first and then look like you I won't. But back when we had like the dogs and boys, we're like, oh my gosh, what's up with them? Oh God, I only use it because I don't feel like in a couple years, you're gonna take food and hot dogs. You'll eat fries. You are. You like 6'4". You are 36. Oh, I'll never say it. How old are you? He's 6'5". I said. Okay, big man. Oh, yeah. I'm still. That's my you got to y'all got me joking. He probably doing so every time I look my eyes on Okay. I got this written down, those that are. Always with the phone out. Y'all losing y'all's points. All right, here we go. All right, so here we go. Okay. Here's the problem we're going to start with, and we will get at least 2 problems done. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to work it out. I'm about to do what y'all were doing just a second ago, though. I'm going to take a picture of these steps. Yeah, it will not be on Friday.
So the test that we're taking is over.
Yeah, and by test, y'all literally it's going to be like two questions.
Okay.
And it's not really a test; it's to say so that you did enough work. Okay. All right. Hey, yo. Hey. All right. First step when it talks about this says you must get one of the variables to have opposite coefficients in the 2 equations. So in this problem, Moose bomb.
I would like to marry him. Large bomb. Are you upset?
No. Sometimes I just get at a loss of what to do. Okay. Here we go. First thing it says you must get one of the variables to have opposite coefficients for two equations. So if I look up here, the y has opposite coefficients. Right?
No.
And so that already happened. Okay, so we can skip step 2. So step 3 says add the two equations together to eliminate one of the variables. Okay, so this is step 3. We have to do step 2 at this point. Wait, why did I put an X in a W?
We don't know.
That's what I'm trying.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. 2 X's.
Yeah, they're supposed to both be W's, but sorry about that, y'all. If you put X's instead, that's fine. I'm not. Don't stress over that. So here we go. If I add them together, what is 2W plus 3W? 5W. Good job.
So good, you guys.
The 5 Y's cancel out, and then over here I get negative 10. Okay? So W equals negative 2. Alright. So, let's add the two equations together to eliminate one of the variables. So I've done that and I solved for that variable. Okay. Step 4. Hey y'all. Step 4. Substitute the value back into one of the equations and solve for the other variable. So, whichever one you want to do, plug that back in. So 2 times negative 2 plus 5y equals negative 24. Okay, and then I'm just solving for y. There we go. So our solution is negative 2, negative 4. So here is, hold on. Trying to get all of it on one screen. All right. Now here's a couple things very quickly. If you already have opposite coefficients on one of the variables, this is not a hard problem at all. Because you don't have to worry about doing anything except for just adding the two together. If you have a problem that doesn't have, hey y'all, for some reason I'm having to talk over a lot of people today. Can I do what? Can I spice up the learning?
Can we do it every day? I'm not playing.
You're right. I'll follow you.
Thank you.
You're good. You're good.
Look, the way I said I'm ready gets me. I gotta get myself ready. I'll do that early.
Alright,
I watched it.
let's do one.
These are like easy, but they're so much easier. You know what I'm saying? Which makes it hard. So it's just a lot.
Um, either that or the EN. Choose one of the two. Hey y'all. Here we go. On this one, I don't have the opposite coefficients like I did in the first one. So what it said in step 2 was I need to multiply both of the equations, or one or both, by some constant, so some number, so that I have opposites. Here's what I would do is look at that second equation. I can make this n into a -3n pretty simple by just multiplying that whole equation by -3. So that way I only have to multiply one of the equations by something. Okay, if I dealt with the m, then I'd have to multiply the top equation by 5 and the bottom equation by 2.
So
Okay?
they have to be the same number.
You have to have one of your two variables be the same number, opposites. Okay? And so, what we'll do, if we multiply this one by -3, that'll make it where we have a positive 3n and a negative 3n. And that's our goal. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. -3 times -5 is 15. Hey y'all, me turning around does not mean you should start talking at the end of the person next to you. No? No, but everybody pause for a second when I stopped a second ago, and then I turn around and start going in. And then -3 times -13 is a positive 39. So that's now my second equation. So at this point, all I'm going to do is add the top equation with my new bottom equation. So I'm kind of not worried about that one. And so I have 17m equals 51. So if I add the 2 and the 15, I get 17, the 12 and the 39, I get 51.
12. I got it.
Okay. And so then you get into the next piece, and you solve for the m. So what is m in this case? M is equal to 3. So 51 divided by 17 is 3. All right. Again, as you get one variable, then you got to go back and plug in to get the other. If I'm trying to find what n is, then I want n to be the easiest to solve for. So I'm going to go back and use this original second equation. So I'm going to plug that 3 in there and solve for n. So I got -5 times 3 plus n equals -13.
But that's what? That'll be
Do what now?
that will be
No, because I just replaced the m. Now I'm going to get n. Since I plugged 3 in for m, now I'm actually going to be able to solve for n because the m is gone. Okay, those other questions?
What if you solve for n first, and you get that 2, and you say 2, 3, and 7, 2, 3?
Oh, and your final answer?
Yeah.
I'll get there. I'll address that in a second. Yes, it does, but I'll address that in a second. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. And so when you add 15 to both sides, you get n equals 2. Always get alphabetical. When you put your answer, it has to be 3 comma 2. Okay?
I thought it was like the way it randomly placed, like, in the spot where
Normally, they're going to put that first. They're going to put in this equation, it's going to be an alphabetical order, but your answer has to be an alphabetical order. So in this case, it'll be on the 40. All right. So y'all, let me say that out loud for everybody to hear. Somebody said because we're not dealing with X and Y, which order doesn't matter. The answer is you have to put them in alphabetical order. So since M comes before N, when you put your solution is going to be M comma N, and so in this case that's 3, 2. Okay? So alphabetical order is the way it has to go when you're putting in a solution like that.
Oh, it's not 29. Wow.
Question.
Oh,